All right, so
Yeah.
I guess it sounded like we're ready to start sharing paywalls.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think we
let's
could.
jump into that. All right. So this is our first paywall to roast, and roasting is a strong word. You don't have to make fun of
Just giving
them.
an giving actionable feedback, you know?
But the idea is to give strong actionable feedback. And
Yeah.
so the first four were actually submitted by folks on Twitter. And so we'll go through those four. And then for those of you in watching this live, you can submit in the comments. If you post to Twitter would probably be easiest. If you post a link, if you go and post your paywalls and say, roast this paywall, and then post a link into the chat, I'll open that link from the chat and we'll get to both Q&A and roasting paywalls live once we've gone through these first four. And then we have a few extras in case we don't get enough submissions before we get to those first four. So yeah, without further ado, let's roast this paywall. What do you think, Vahe? What can they do to improve here?
It's very interesting. Firstly, I don't know if there is a good reason of making the paywall like not full screen. Like this paywall is like easily dismissible. Um, Maybe it is. I don't know if they have any concern about the retention rate or tested this before or not, but I think um, it'd be good to test like a full screen paywall instead of this drawer when kind of it's easily skippable. Um, one other thing I would change probably, well, I'm not a big fan of putting the, I'll say like a value proposition or whatever the use case as a top headline for a paywall. Like instead of saying like a capture ideas instantly, I would just go like a upgrade or starter free trial or something like this, more like a call to action to what we want user to do. And if you want to keep the value propositions and stuff, you could still have it on the visual somehow. But I would kind of make the headline be like start your free trial or continue for free or something like this, just to drive users to more specific action to that we want them to do. Another thing, um, interesting. Well, I would test actually having some reviews and social proof. What we kind of noticing after running a lot of tests last year, it's like having, this is true especially for iOS apps, it's like having like social proof and reviews on a paywall almost always performs better than listing your features and the value proposition that you're offering. Because I feel like when users come through, if you have like a good enough onboarding and when user goes through the onboarding, they kind of already know what they're expecting. And like I think it's better not to repeat the same thing on a paywall and just show users something different. Could be like a social proof and review specifically kind of performs way better. I would do a variation of this paywall where I would take these visuals that shows the use case of the app and remove that and put some actual reviews from App Store, what people are thinking and saying about the app, and test against this paywall. I think that could be an interesting test. I'm curious also, this like see other plans, what other plans they have. Unfortunately, we can't see, but um, I'm just curious to know like what is the plan and like what percentage of users even click on it, because I feel like most of the users would go just with a weekly or yearly plans. I don't know what's your take, David?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think, depending on the context, and you've probably experimented with this more than I have, is it, sometimes that like save 92% does like actually help where the user like sees, especially something like this, like 92% savings can be very attractive.
Yeah,
So sometimes having multiple, I mean, yeah, auto selecting yearly probably would be better. But yeah,
yeah,
sometimes just having the yearly and then not taking up so much visual space, I think could really help. So that I think that'd be a great experiment. It's like just default to yearly, have smaller text, and then use more of the page for social proof and some of the other things you were discussing. I was
Hmm.
curious
Hmm.
about CTA. Maybe you covered this while I was while I had been kicked off, but continue is something that has been used a lot in the past, but
Yeah.
seems like it's maybe not performing as well these days. I think in the past there was a little bit of a, if you had a really long paywall and the call to action in the onboard, I mean, I'm sorry, if you had a really long onboarding and the action button for every part of the onboarding was continue, continue, continue. So people would just get used to tapping continue, continue, continue,
Yeah.
continue. And then by labeling it continue, they just hit that and then immediately they have the payment sheet. And so,
Mhm.
that has been a a solid CTA in some ways because of that reason. But I'm wondering like what kind of CTAs you've been seeing perform lately. And I'll preview next week on the Sub Club podcast, we're actually releasing an episode with the chief product officer of Duolingo, and he said they've been running a ton of these kind of CTA experiments, and for them, try for $0 and 0 cents, like the dollar sign
Yeah.
0.00 perform better than try for free or any other CTA they had used. So I'm curious what other CTAs you would suggest testing for this paywall other than just the continue.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's what I'm seeing too. The try for $0 and 0 cents CTA has been performing very well across different apps and paywalls we've been testing. I think that's something came from Duolingo, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they are probably the first one who like introduced that kind of CTA. But what I'm seeing about a continue is like it's becoming like less and less popular. Like I feel like if you go right now on App Store, like any category and like check most of the paywalls, I feel like they don't have continue anymore. It's like start free trial or start my free trial or start 7-day free trial, try for 000. It has been very popular recently. Uh, yeah, I don't think continue is not a it's not a good CTA anymore, to be honest. The way we try to always experiment with like a try for $0 or start my free trial or start my 7-day free trial. We also do claim my free trial, just to kind
Claim, I
of
like that.
yeah, claim, um, or grab my free trial, something like this, to kind of make users feel like they're just getting something, just so I think, yeah, continue probably is not the best CTA, but like it's worth to test. Actually, one other thing I would just change all of this payment card layout. So we've been experimenting that. When I say the payment card layout, I mean the UI that shows the yearly plan and the prices and a weekly plan with its prices. We've been experimenting with this like heavily in the last, at least the last year. And we think this is not the best layout in most of the cases. Go to download the Flow app, the period tracker, and look at the layout that they have on a paywall. Something similar to it, from our experience, has been the best performing one compared to this one, which is the more kind of the default option or more traditional option that most of the apps probably doing. Because like I think the job of the layout sometimes is to highlight the price anchoring and all of the other kind of a conversion rate optimization techniques that you do better and convince user that this is a good deal. So the better UI solution for a payment layout would potentially lead to a higher increase in the conversion rate. And another thing about the toggle trial that we again recently kind of experimenting with it a lot, we are noticing that when you are making the toggle trial not a toggle but a check mark, it tends to perform way better than it's when it's just a toggle. It's not like, imagine, I don't have like an example to show right now, but like exactly imagine like having it as a check mark, like you tap to check instead of just toggling. And one other thing that is like when they do it, you need to reinforce the free trial. Like when somebody clicks on the check marks and turn it on, show that do today, $0, free for 7 days. Sometimes like a big mistake that I'm noticing when people have on their paywalls, they don't reinforce the value of free trial enough. They just tell it like once or twice. It's not enough. Like you sometimes really users don't get it that it is free, and you have to like repeatedly show them and explain that this is a free and you just need to take it. I think these are like interesting like tests or like insights that the developer of this app could take to redesign this paywall and run a test against it.
Yeah. Well, since we're on the topic, and before we move on to the next one, although we will move on soon, and then side notes, Senior Shield AI, instead of sending a DM, go ahead and do a public tweet in response to the link that we shared here in the chat. That way I'm going to share it from my screen, and that way Vahe doesn't have to kind of dig around his DMs and everything. So share that publicly. But while we're on the topic of this enable free trial, when you say it performs better with the check mark and even this like free trial toggle, is it that more people go ahead and just pay immediately, or do you even see higher trial conversion for the people who do enable the free trial because they're like, it's kind of reinforcing the fact that the trial is available? Like what's driving the performance of this like toggle to enable the free trial?
I think my hypothesis is like people like to be in control of their purchasing decisions. And I think there was some time when you kind of try to default everything and just engineer like one choice for the user. Like there's like a choice architecture, like try to just engineer like a one choice for users and get them to go through it. But I feel like consumer is becoming like way smarter, and they like to be in control of the purchasing decision. Even you can still architect the entire experience, the different options, etc., etc. But I feel like giving the consumer a choice to at least decide how they want to pay it, like with trial or without trial, it really like kind of helps user to make a better decision and like do more like encourage them to do the decision, because they are like they don't think they are getting tricked or something. I think the best thing with this option is like why this is working in many cases is like you're putting user the decision in a decision of their purchase. And we see also not only this, like one other interesting thing we do, we give there's the strategy we test a lot when we give user two payment options. Like, do you want a 3-day free trial or you want a 7-day free trial? Again, like everything is kind of architect. Like we change the prices based on the trial duration, and like everything is calculated. We just try to put users that they feel like they are making the decision, and they are making the decision, and that's kind of helps them to be more confident. That's kind of at least my hypothesis when they subscribe or take a free trial.
Yeah. And then do you have any kind of rough numbers of what you've seen? Like when you experiment with this, how many people do just start payment immediately? And then how many do tap to enable the free trial, whether it's a check mark or a toggle? Like what's that percentage look like?
Yeah, depends on the product industry, I think, but the average is from 5 to 10% go without free trial. And they just go without free trial. And one other thing that you could do is like change the price based on if the trial is on and off. Like if trial is off, give them cheaper price. If the trial is on, give them a higher expensive price. It's totally fair. And I think a lot of, again, it's just like putting users to decide, do you want a cheaper price, pay immediately, or do you want like a free trial, but you pay a little bit extra?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think in average, if I'm not mistaken, about like 5 to 10% users just toggle it off and go without free trial.
Yeah. Interesting thing to note on that. A revenue cat employee just got a rejection for an exit offer. And
Yeah.
in the rejection and in the clarification, it seems like Apple and App Review is getting a little more picky about things like exit
Yes.
offer, where you immediately get, a lower price just for clicking the X button. So while that's maybe worth testing, I will caveat that I wonder if changing the price based on the free trial or not free trial, I wonder if Apple's going to allow that long term, or if that's another thing they're going to start kind of checking more
Yeah.
carefully on every paywall.
Yeah, I'm not sure for now, but like what you're saying is like I noticed too, we started to get a lot of rejection about the exit offers, which was this is new. Like after the New Year's, a lot of our customers they started to get rejections about the exit offers. So I feel like Apple is like either getting more stricter or refining their strategies around like how they reviewed this kind of paywalls.
Yeah. Any thoughts on, or have you seen what exit offers do make it through versus what exit offers don't make it through? Any kind of tips there
Yeah,
for people?
yeah. Apple doesn't like when you put the exit offer immediately. Like you click, you get another paywall. So what we do, we put something in between. Like you decline the paywall, the main paywall. We don't show you another. We show you a screen that says, "We have a gift for you," and then yeah, just click on the continue button, and then you see the exit offer.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
That doesn't seem that different to me,
somebody's
but app
yeah,
review is always a little confusing.
yeah.
All
Somebody's
right.
like roast faster. Okay, we gotta be faster. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've got four new submissions, so I do want to get to that, but I do want to
Wow.
get to the four that were already submitted. So let's go to this next one. Track
Okay.
smarter. What are your thoughts on this one?
I don't know. Just track smarter. I'll change this again. Start your free trial.
Yeah,
What is track smarter? So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just change this. I would get rid all of these bullet points, put reviews again. This paywall is like kind of similar to the previous one. I'm just gonna just quickly repeat myself. Like just get rid of these bullet points, put like actual App Store reviews, remove the track smarter, put start my free trial or something. Um, you could change the payment card with the same logic I explained. Um, so when the trial toggle is on, it says unlock premium. Probably change that to start my free trial. And then when the toggle is off, unlock premium, just to emphasize that one is with the trial, and the other one is not with free trial. Do price anchoring, $17.99 per year. Change it to the break it down by monthly. Show the annual price, but break it down to monthly. So you put in a comparison with a monthly price. Yeah, I think if you do all of this stuff, you definitely see a good increase in your conversion rate.
yeah, yeah. And this one looks a lot like that last one. Very similar.
Yeah,
Toggle for the
yeah,
free trial.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so maybe that's enough on that one since we've already covered so
yeah.
many of the other things. Let's move on to paywall number 3. It looks like we are getting a lot of very similar paywalls.
Yeah, because the
I
thing is again,
yeah,
they just there are some big apps. They do some layout and like you just go and like okay, you want to do something, right? Where you're gonna get the ideas. You look what others do, and you just take the same framework or whatever and just like try to repurpose for your app.
yeah. All right. Well,
Um,
what do you think here? Get premium support is an interesting call to action.
yeah,
Have you experimented with those, like a call to action that's more specific to a value prop? Like
not really actually. But it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. I would be curious to test it, but like we don't really do it. But yeah, I would be curious to see how it might perform. Parent with confidence. Sense. Yeah, I would still stick with my same approach. Like change it to uh, like start my free trial and then yeah, just change it based on what the plan is offering, like a free trial or not a free trial. This visual is like, this is just, I don't know, like probably you can have a good visual here, but uh, but not this, you know, it's just too
Yeah.
cartoonish, too like a Google image. I don't know, like, oh, we actually saw a case when like we worked with this parenting app and we put an actual image of their kid and the parent on a paywall. Actually, like it was like we did like multi-step paywall. On a first page, we put a video of a parent with her kid explaining how this app helped them. And it really, really boosted the conversion rates. We get rid of all of this generic stuff and just put in this video with just like this parent holding her kid and like telling, okay, this app was really, really helpful and that helped with us with XYZ. So I think it's a very interesting thing to do with this app too, because I assume it's about parenting.
Yeah, so social proof in video form.
Yes.
I could see why that would be powerful. Do you do
Yeah.
that with sound on, or is there captions and then like a button to turn sound on, or how
Oh,
do you handle
there
the
was like a
audio part?
muted the video. Yeah, the video is muted by default with captions, and you can click on an unmute icon to listen to the voiceover.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know like for a while, adding videos to paywalls was a big deal, and a lot of people
Yeah.
were experimenting with that. I feel like it's hasn't been as kind of in vogue lately, but again, it's
Yeah.
maybe because people are converging on the local maxima of what everybody else is
Yeah.
doing versus like going out there and finding what's really going to perform best for them. And I could see that, if you have
Yeah.
a really strong hopefully an honest actual user review or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
an, a TikTok video of someone organically actually praising
Yeah.
your app. It
Yeah.
seems, and you get permission to use it. It seems like that could be really powerful.
Yeah.
That's a really cool idea.
Yep.
All right, paywall number 4. Now here's a unique one. I'm glad we got to
Yeah.
this one. I like
This is
I
a very
like
unique
some of
one.
what's going on here.
Yeah. 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 This is very unique, and it's unique in many ways. The first thing that I like about the uniqueness of this paywall is they have like multiple tier of subscriptions, which is not common. Like most of the apps on App Store, they just have one tier of subscription, not much. So this app has 2, transformed and original. Um,
Oh,
I
I think that's
think
actually those aren't tiers.
no,
And
it is not.
this is actually what I thought was
Oh,
kind of cool
wait.
is that what it's doing is it's showing the value prop of the app, and maybe
Ah,
they could do it a little better visually.
yeah. See, I got confused. I thought these are like 2 different tiers of subscriptions. Okay.
No, it's so transformed shows you like what it looks like when you use the product to like, and I'm assuming this is like one of those like home remodel apps where you use
Yeah.
AI
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
envision what things would look
Mm-hmm.
like in your space. And so the original is like the picture that was taken, and then the transformed is like what it makes it look
Ah,
like. So I
yeah.
love the idea, but I think you're right that
But I
maybe the
don't love the execution.
execution,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Maybe it
idea, I
should
love it
be
too.
this should be a video, right? It should be a
Yeah.
video where there's like a big thing that says
Yeah.
transformed and then original image, and then it should just be
Yeah.
going back and
Yeah.
forth between transformed and original image, and then there's like motion, and then maybe there's like a magic sparkle from the original and then magic sparkle to transformed.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that would actually
Definitely.
improve it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. Like the idea is really, really good. Execution, not that much. But like, yeah, either have a video or just have a better visual.
Yeah.
Show the before and after.
Or one of those sliding toggle the sliders, like where they
Yeah.
can
Yeah. Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
interact with the paywall and like slide across and back and forth to show.
Yeah. 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 So the idea is good. I love it. But yeah, other thing I like about this kind of the payment card, it has a checkbox. So we experiment with this a lot, and usually the payment card that have a checkbox, like the design as a checkbox, they perform better than just like a regular when you did like a gradient highlight or something. I can't like 100% explain why is that, but like we tested this a lot, and I can confidently say like in most of the cases this payment cards with a checkbox, they perform way better than the when you just regularly do some highlight around it, make sure it's like and make user feel like this defaulted. So this is for something I like about this. So this app seems to don't have a free trial. Um, I think one thing I would change about this kind of payment cards is like, instead of putting them next to each other, just like, or just stack it vertically, like the first one like this and the second one below. I think that performs very well. Actually, one interesting thing about this no free trial apps, I've been experimenting a bit lately, um, and it seems like performing really well. Is this strategy when you don't, when it's like this is a hard paywall too, right? If I understand correctly, I assume so. Yeah. So you don't let users to subscribe immediately from the paywall. Like imagine you have this paywall and you don't have the payment cards here, and you just have a button that says continue transforming your apartment or something. You click on it and then the payment cards open. So
Right.
I'm not exactly sure why this is like consumers like it, but like we tested this like at least like a dozen times on different apps, different categories, different verticals. And it seems we adding this like additional friction element has been very helpful with the conversion rate rather than letting user just to purchase immediately.
Right.
It could be connected with they are taking one more extra step, might be more committed to make a purchase, or I don't know, they're getting more by just clicking on it, they might be getting a bit more invested. I'm not exactly sure, but like that's something we see like performing way better rather than just letting user to just go with this main paywall without like adding any friction. So I
Yeah.
would definitely test it. Well, the headline, I mean, we talked about it slowly. I would change the headline, 1 million designs in your pocket. Or just, this is like the Apple's iPod, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe developer is inspired by that. But like, anyways, yeah, I would change it to something like choose your plan. Even like choose your plan, I feel like would perform better than this headline. Um, I like the user reviews though.
Yeah, that's
Do
really
more.
good. I'll add one more to this.
Yeah.
The CTA button to me
Uh-huh.
looks, because of the color they chose, it looks like it's not active. It looks like a
Oh yeah,
deactivated
yeah, yeah.
button.
Agree.
You really want your CTA button to probably be. I mean, you tell me, Vahe. If you've experimented with this, but the kind of general past wisdom has been make it pretty much like the brightest, most colorful, most standout thing on the page. And this is
Yeah.
almost the opposite, where it's like the most muted thing on the page.
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Make it more vibrant, more vivid. You could also add some animation, make it move. Uh, yeah, somebody's asking, do more onboarding screens perform better always? Not always. But yeah, also depends how you execute it. It's not about, I feel like this person is about like the multi-step paywall when you go through multiple steps before seeing the main thing. I feel like no, not always. And second, depends how it's executed. Like we have this customer, like pretty big app, is like we had a tested multi-step paywall multiple times, didn't work. So we took it, refined, changed the concept, still kept the main thing, which is it's multi-step. It ended up like performing way better. So depends like how you execute it, but also not always. It doesn't work not always. So
Yeah.
you gotta
Yeah.
test.
And onboarding is so tricky too. And we talked about
Yeah,
this on a recent episode of the podcast. Is that I think it was with Ravi Mehta. Is that
yeah,
you almost either want to have just like a 1-page onboarding and like get people right to the value prop,
yeah,
or you want to have like the 30-page onboarding. And
yeah,
sometimes being in the middle, it's like you're not building up enough, like sunk cost fallacy and all the things about these
yeah.
extra long onboardings. um, so yeah, onboarding is tricky because long onboarding can work for some apps, but it's like not a panacea either, and you shouldn't try it for every app. And it was interesting
Yeah,
that you
for
said,
you.
with this big app you couldn't get the multi-page paywall to
Yeah,
work. It's like a lot of people assume that's the thing to do, but again, it's so
yeah,
context dependent.
yeah. Like for utility apps, for example, like multi-step paywalls or like long onboardings never work. People want to just get to it. Like I just
Yeah.
want to print my thing. I know why I
Yeah.
downloaded this app. It's just super straightforward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, get them to the value. All right, well, this is the
yeah,
exciting
yeah.
part of the roasting session because we actually have 5 fresh paywalls that were just
Wow,
submitted from the live audience. Another reason to show
let's
up
do
live for
it.
these things.
Yeah.
So let me pull that up. Oh boy.
I hope this new
Um,
paywalls will be different. Nah, you know,
what's that?
I hope they'll be different.
Yeah. We got some good ones. All right. I'm just going to share
Yeah.
the whole screen here. All right. So yeah, this is the first one that got submitted live. Again,
Mm-hmm.
it goes back to this is very similar to the ones we've seen before. But any
Yeah.
additional thought? This one actually highlights really nicely how
Yeah.
the CTA button is pretty much the brightest thing on the page and like
Yeah.
really stands out. Like there's very little
Yeah.
use of color, and then the CTA is like really bright. I actually really like that aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Me too. Me too. What I would do, I would probably move this tab start trial for full screen up above this reviews, and I would move this 4.8 reviews a bit left and add some more review stuff next to it. Just have more reviews. I'll probably actually clean this up. Like again, just getting back to the same feedback I gave before, like just removing all of this like bullet points and put like reviews instead of it. I strongly think it's going to end up performing better. Um, Here, the toggle trial we have 3-day free trial. I like when they repeat the trial, like top start trial, 3-day free trial is label, free trial enabled, start free 3-day free trial. I like when it's like repeated. Oh, this is an Android paywall. But yeah, but I like that the CTA has a like very vibrant color, and that's the first thing you notice on a paywall because it's like beautifully differentiated itself from the rest of the content that's on the paywall. So I definitely think it's a good idea. And yeah, tries by thousands of users.
What do you think about
Oh,
the
one
terms
one
of
other
service
thing,
and privacy policy being on the page? That used to be a requirement for Apple paywalls, but I
I
feel
think it's
like
still.
no, it's like 3 or 4 years ago, they said as long as the terms of service and privacy policy are in the app somewhere. So most people now bury it in settings. And if you notice, like I think most of the paywalls we've looked at so far, they are live on the App Store and they don't have the terms of service and privacy on the paywall itself. I feel like if you remove those and don't get a rejection, which I've done it and I have not gotten a rejection, I just put them in the
Mhm.
settings, and then you have to link to them when you're filling out the App Store Connect stuff as well. But I would try just removing those, and it'll like reduce visual clutter as well to just have the restore
Yeah.
purchases button instead of having the terms of service and privacy policy linked there.
Yeah, I think time to time we still get rejection about it. I feel like depends who reviews the app, to be honest. I think
Interesting.
it's like way less of it nowadays, but like we time to time we get some about it. I think just depends who reviews it. Maybe they don't know they removed, the
Yeah.
requirement. Um, but one other thing I would do here actually, this like the thing that says trust by thousands of users, I'll just remove that and put like 5,000 plus users gave us 4.8 out of 5 review and put some avatars as an icons of like actual people. Like
Right.
that's something like I would do here, and like I think it might perform better than just saying this, which is like it's not even that visible because of the how the paywall is like structured and how the colors are chosen.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, let's move on
Yeah,
to the
we've
next
got
one.
four more to go, and
Let's do
20
it.
minutes left. Ooh, this one's pretty different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's roast it. What do you
Oh,
think?
I think this one is with a multiple tiers. One is subscription and there's some extra pages. I'm not exactly sure what is extra pages, but it's interesting. I like the reviews. Turn complexity into clarity. I would just again remove this, put like start your free trial or something. I know it's like repeated somewhere down, but yeah, just yeah, I think just put on a headline. It's better if it's on the headline. Minus 100%. I'm not sure what is this. And where are the prices? Do you see the prices?
No, there must be. Maybe this is like the. Yeah, this would definitely get rejected because you're supposed to have
Yeah,
price. Maybe this
where
is
are
a
the prices?
multi-stage paywall, and the unlock free trial then takes you to the next page that
Yeah,
it
could
shows it to
be,
you.
could be. Could be,
Yeah.
but yeah, to have the prices, you're gonna get rejected.
Yeah.
Could be your developer account be terminated, not even rejected. Like, no, have the
Yeah.
prices.
Yeah.
Um,
And turn complexity into clarity. You've
it's
been
just
harping on this.
so poetic. It's just like I don't like when people trying to be like, I don't know,
Yeah.
just be straightforward. You're not
Yeah.
like a fiction writer. Just be.
I think this goes to kind of a bigger topic of like people feel like they need to be marketing-y, like they need to come
Yeah,
up with like clever taglines and do clever things. But in some ways, maybe this is also related to like the UGC movement of, real people talking about real
yeah,
things, and authenticity is really valued these days. And so I think it's kind of related that these like clever
yeah,
marketing phrases maybe just don't work like you think they work. And like you're
yeah.
not required to put a
Yeah,
clever.
I like to tell, yeah, I like to tell developers, you are not Lewis Carroll. Just don't try to be poetic. Just be straightforward. Like there's no point of just trying to be extra smart. Just gonna confuse users.
Yeah, be authentic. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
be more clear about the value prop.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Anything else here?
No, just put the prices. And I would love to see this paywall like in its entirety. I think there is like some part of it is not visible here,
Yeah,
but yeah. And restore purchase term privacy. Okay, no, okay, that makes sense.
yeah. All right, let's go to the next one.
Oh, I like this one actually.
Janima.
Genima Premium. Okay, interesting. I like the reviews. One thing I think that's missing here is the headline. I think they put the Genima Premium as the headline, but no, just have also the headline that says user to kind of calls user to an action. That's why it's called. Yeah, it's just like you need to have it. I think always. Um, So the app has two options to subscribe. One is a monthly, the other one is weekly. It also has credits. Okay. Weekly comes with a credit. I like the price anchoring. And here also, the CTA, the colors and the gradients of CTA is very good. Like it's like immediately it's visible. Like it's very vivid, it's very visible. So I like that it's there. I like the reviews. I would experiment actually just this paywall against the same paywall without this 3 bullet points. I kind of don't like having these bullet points on any paywall on iOS. Interestingly, on Android, I assuming this is like an iOS. Yeah, it is like
Yeah.
iPhone screenshot. Interestingly, like on Android, it always performs better when you list all of these features that you're giving the users. But on iOS, in most of the cases, it never works better compared when you have a paywall that doesn't speak about the features, but like more speak about the value or the utility, or just shares an experience of the other users and how they use the app to do something. So I'll definitely kind of I'll try to test it. I think this premium credits might have could have better presentation on a paywall. I can't exactly kind of comment on how, but I feel like there could be like better presentation of how to show the number of credits and each plan has.
Yeah, I was going to bring that
Um,
up. And one thing to watch out
yeah,
for with this app, and the person who shared, and all these that were shared live, the people are still in the chat. And so
yeah,
one of the things he said is the weekly plan gives you only 20 credits. But one thing to
yeah.
be careful of with credits, which I think can be a really powerful monetization, but I've seen a lot of apps get flamed for not making this more
Yeah,
clear. And so
yeah,
maybe to your point, I don't know exactly the treatment, whether it should be inside the box where the monthly is, or just
yeah,
bigger or something. Um, but you want to be careful that when people get into the app, they're like, wait a minute, like paid is unlimited. Like sometimes people have those expectations. So, if you're not getting bad reviews of people getting
mhm,
confused, then maybe it's fine.
yeah,
But if you are like this is the source of the problem, that if people are not fully clear that that it's not unlimited, and just making it more clear that it's a credit system, that you're buying credits,
Yeah.
not buying unlimited usage. Because ChatGPT and Claude and all the others, they do have some limits, and that's a little confusing too. I mean, I run into Claude limits, and then there's no way
Yeah.
to like just like
It's
buy
kind
more
of
credits
annoying.
for
Yeah.
today or something. But it's like you're annoying your users, which is going to hurt retention.
hmm
So yeah, depending on
Yeah.
whether users are getting confused or not, there's probably a better way to like present the credit
Yeah.
idea on this paywall.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
Cool. Anything else?
Yeah. No, let's move to the next one.
Oh, I was going to ask, the
Yeah.
little badge with the cancel anytime. I've started seeing this a lot, and so that I guess it's a pretty common thing now. Do you like that treatment? And we've seen it in a
Yeah.
few paywalls now, like kind of almost drawing attention to it, or like a badge, like it's more secure or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it has an impact. I don't think it's like a significant uplift, but I think that has an impact. Like I think it's good to have it.
Yeah. And this one before, it had the little check mark, no payment due now, secured by the Play
Yeah.
Store. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind
That's
of cool
also good.
too. I meant to bring that up
Yeah. It
when we're
is.
looking at this one. Secured
It
by the
is.
Play
Yeah.
Store. So you could say like secured by the App Store.
Yeah.
Um, it'd be an interesting thing to test. I might test that on my paywall soon.
Yeah.
All right, here's the next
Let's see.
one.
Unlock your strawberry experience. Wow, it's interesting. I like the payment cards. Try this thing. Try 3-day free. Well, I mean, the app clearly offers free trial, so I feel like you need to, again, going back to one of my points before, you just gotta make it extremely clear that this comes with a free trial. Like, get rid of this headline, put like a start 7-day free trial. On yearly, it says 3-day free trial. It's okay, but it's not that visible. Like, make this free trial label way more visible. Change the CTA to start my transformation. Interestingly, this app on a paywall, they don't have anything else, just the headline and the payment options. I think just at least add some reviews. Um, I don't know, maybe they have like a pretty good onboarding and users have good understanding about it, but like in anyways, try to add some reviews.
Yeah, this looks like a paywall that would
Mhm.
perform well as part of like a multi-stage paywall, where
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
just
yeah,
really
yeah,
focused on payment. But if
yeah,
you don't have anything, if you're not doing a multi-step
yeah,
paywall, and this is the only paywall, it does feel like it's maybe a little too simple. And then the one more
yeah,
thing, I guess that is that a button? Like that's a little weird. And and
yeah,
and maybe yeah, it's tough because this is something in like email marketing and other things. You don't want to have too many calls to action on a screen. You don't want to have too many things for them to do on
yeah.
the payment screen. You want them to be focused on like paying. And so if that is a button that like does something, I don't know,
hmm
maybe it was like an amazing idea and it's interactive and it does something cool and it explains more thing or whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually just distracting people.
hmm Yeah, I definitely agree with you. So yeah, yeah, I think this is a part of the multi-step payload program, maybe better. But yeah, it's just so much like a payment focused. I'll change that.
Yeah.
And I agree with your feedback too.
Yeah, the developer shared in the chat. It is 30 pages of onboarding,
Wow.
and that is a button. Maybe you could
I want,
share in the
yeah,
chat what that button actually does.
yeah, and also what's the conversion rate of this paywall? I'd be curious to know. It's just like,
Yeah,
I don't think I ever saw like this kind of paywall, which is like super focused on a payment. There's no other information. Um,
yeah. I'm keeping an eye on
yeah,
the chat. Let's move on to the next
yeah,
one, then
let's
we'll
look
come
move
back to
on.
this
Yeah,
when
yeah,
we
yeah.
hear in the chat. Share some more details
Yeah.
in the chat because we're both curious. All right, this one is very different. So,
Yeah, got premium bypasses.
and
I
then
assume yeah, go ahead.
this one does have multiple. So, oh, this is when you
Oh,
when you tap on the bypasses. And
yeah.
then, oh, this is the next step. Okay. So
Oh,
we have kind of a
yeah.
multi-stage. Go
multi-stage, but
premium.
also the payment options. This is like a tiered subscription app. Like you have like one-time purchases plus.
Yeah.
Oh, so for the Go Premium, you scroll down to see the payment options, which you go to the screen number 3 here. So it's the Go Premium. Scroll down. I think one thing I wouldn't do, I would make this payment option sticky. Don't let users to scroll down to see them. You want to have it sticky.
Oh,
And
the creator of this paywall shared in the chat that these are different paywalls. So I guess they're A/B
oh,
testing.
these are different. Ah, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
this
okay, okay.
is one
Yeah,
test, and
I like this
then
better.
this is the, I guess maybe the original.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think some of the feedback we saw earlier, what we said earlier, is applicable here too. Put a headline. What is this app doing? Actually, one thing I would advise the other apps, but not this one, just assuming this is more prosumer app instead of like a consumer. That's what I'm seeing, like feeling just looking at this paywall. I feel like for prosumers, actually listing some features is a good idea. So having the mix of features plus reviews is kind of better idea for the prosumer targeting apps compared to the consumer, because you are probably buying for some sort of your business and you want to kind of understand like what you're getting or how it's going to help you, like what's included in this thing. I'm buying my business to solve the specific problem. Like, I don't know. I think like having a mix of these two for prosumer is like good idea. But I would put the headline, I would just add reviews. Yeah, that's kind of what I would
Yeah, and I'll say
advise
the
for this.
scrolling images,
Yeah, make it
it
at least automatically to automatically scroll.
yeah. Well, and it's not an especially compelling image either. So I
Yeah,
would say
also
like,
it doesn't say anything, just like a
yeah,
4 people on a table. Yeah, it doesn't say anything.
what does that mean? Yeah. And
Yeah, yeah.
again, we do lack some context. Like maybe there was some lead
Mhm.
up in the onboarding that would give more context. But let's go to that
Maybe, but
last
still,
version of the paywall, because
yeah.
it seems, yeah, see, this is like a much better
This is
paywall. Find your
yeah,
people.
this is kind of what I was also proposing, like mixed with
Yeah.
reviews and features. So yeah, I think this definitely is a good idea. I like your price anchoring between annual and monthly. You also have a lifetime. I'd probably remove the check mark on the 12-month plan because it's already defaulted and with like visible that it's like chosen kind of. It just kind of gets an extra attention. You probably want the attention to go to your CTA. And one more thing, the unlock much premium CTA is too tiny. It's like too narrow. Just give it a kind of a
Big and
proper
fat.
look. Yeah, big and fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of this horizontal layout? Because before you were saying to do the vertical, but when there's three, do you like this horizontal layout?
Yeah. I mean, specifically for fitness, some kind of like fitness app that works well. Yeah, I think this is good. I think this. I mean, I would in any ways I would test it against the vertical, but I don't think this is bad. But like the image, but like getting back to the image, I would just change it to something else. At least, yeah, and change the find your people too. We definitely lack some context about the app, but like I think even though a user goes through kind of the onboarding, if you have something that's like more straightforward to understand both visually and like text wise, it's better.
Yeah. And then the Silent Warrior, I'd still love to know what that button does. And we'll get back to your paywall as
Yeah,
we wrap things up here in the next couple of minutes. So drop that in the chat. I'm super curious. But in the
yeah.
meantime, I was curious, Vahe, what you think, and this is more a monetization question,
Hmm.
but back to this version of the paywall, it seems like this version of the paywall is only focused on like, the subscription.
Yeah.
This version of the paywall gives you the option of the subscription or, it looks like one-time purchases. Have any of your clients been experimenting with this, like one-time purchases combined with subscription, and any thoughts on like the monetization model and what you've seen work in these kind of cases?
Yeah, well, not many of them, probably
Yeah.
some, but well, I think the biggest mistake between the subscriptions in our purchases, when you want to have both, you create it in a way that it creates a competition between subscription and in-app purchase. The right way to do it is just to make it as like an additional thing on the top of your subscription that users can benefit of, or something that's like just kind of puzzle it all together. Like for some reason they don't want to go with a subscription, you have something compelling in-app purchase that would go with it, or use the in-app purchases as an upsell to increase the LTV of the user. I think that should be the strategy overall. I think in many cases, when you do it wrong, it can create a competition between subscription and app purchases. You don't want to have it. I think the ideal case scenario with this hybrid monetization system is like getting users to go with a subscription, as many of your users as possible to go with a subscription, and use in-app purchases and as an additional revenue layer to do revenue expansion through increasing users' LTV and their ARPU.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. It's and then I mean, it looks like again, this third screen is a much better paywall generally,
Yeah,
and it does feel like this one is just too much competing, and just not enough
yeah,
clarity and information.
yeah,
Um, Cool.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we did not hear back from the Silent Warrior, so we're all just gonna have to go download Strawbelly. Maybe this is like a monetization hack for Strawbelly. We're gonna have to go download the
yeah,
app and tap this button and figure out what it does. I'm gonna immediately
yeah,
do that as soon as we wrap up this live.
yeah.
But as we do wrap up, Vi, thank you so much for your time. And any kind of parting thoughts of
Yeah, I
things
was just
people should
like
be
really
thinking
enjoy this.
about? Yeah.
Yeah, really enjoy doing this rostings, and I mean, I don't know. I think just one thing is like I noticed like a lot of people do it, and I don't like when they do it. It's just like looking at some other app's paywall and just copy it entirely. Just like, okay, it's good to get inspired, but also just think about how it works in the context of your app. I feel like if you do that, you might see kind of better performance. You can learn from other apps. You can take a lot of frameworks or tactics or strategies they're using. But when you do it, kind of always think about in the context of your app, like what this thing means for my app and for my users. Um, I think that's kind of the thing that is missing. There are like a lot of paywalls, a lot of good stuff. It's just, yeah, you gotta have a lot of context behind it if you want to have like a good performing paywall.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And the key is, and this is what, you do as a service, the key is like
Yeah.
test, test, test.
Yeah,
And,
test, test,
you
and
know,
yeah, and test, test, test. Yeah, maybe I'm
yeah.
wrong. Maybe all of my advice is wrong today. Just test, test, test.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We did, the Silent Warrior did reply to the
In a
thread.
thread.
I think we are going to go ahead and wrap up with this though.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
so
check it later after the
anybody
live.
who's like
So yeah,
desperately curious like me, you can go check out the thread that's linked here in the comments
yeah,
to figure out what that button
yeah,
does. But again, thank you so much, Vahe. Thank you so much for all of you who participated live. We will do more of these, so subscribe, like, do all the YouTubey stuff,
yeah.
and what
Comment,
is it? Hit the
share,
bell
yeah,
icon so you'll be notified
yeah,
next time we're
yeah,
going to go
yeah.
live. And then,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff we talked about today, I also do talk about on the podcast with guests. As I mentioned, next week will be the chief product officer of Duolingo, and he shared some really awesome insights. So go check out subclub.com for the podcast. This is kind of an extension of the podcast, but the podcast is where I interview some of the top people in the industry. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining, and thank you, Vahe.
Thanks, David. We really enjoyed this.
All right, bye.